My name is Jacob Cena. I've been in the motion picture business over 20 years. I'm a location manager. I'm also a picture car coordinator. I'm a producer and a fixer. And I'm also a professional classic car restorer. I did the dignitary VIP protection for Sicario. And then I also did Glory Road, of course, a picture car coordinator. I also worked on a movie called The Counselor. I worked with Ridley Scott, but that was with 20th Century Fox. I was a picture car coordinator for that. I've worked with Annie Leibovitz as well. I also managed the Cattlemen's at Indian Cliff specifically for filming. It's a film location. It's over 35,000 acres. Basically, you gotta ask what the director wants, and you gotta get into his brain. You gotta tap into him and try to see what his vision is. And so as a location manager, we have to locate a fictional idea that's in the director's mind and make it a reality. That's really difficult because it's not as easy as everybody thinks, because you have to have a lot of particular set of skills to be a location manager. It takes years of work and training to get to that level. You have to make sure it's safe. You have to make sure that there's parking for cast and crew. You have to make sure that you're near a hospital. I mean, all these factors come into play, and depending on the sequence on what the director wants, that also comes into play of how we're gonna do it safely. Paul Thomas Anderson actually came here when he filmed There Will Be Blood, and he landed at the El Paso International Airport, and he rented a car, and he looked over to the west and he noticed downtown El Paso, and he scouted looking around and loved what he saw, and he had it in the back of his mind to come back and try to film here. This movie that we worked on is 20 years in the making. He fell in love with El Paso. That's what won his heart over, is the people. And the great thing about that is he's gonna come back. I know he will. He loves El Paso, totally loves it. Benicio del Toro loves it. Sean Penn loved it. And and Leonardo DiCaprio, they all loved El Paso. So we scouted the whole planet searching for a dojo. Now, they had already filmed it in California, and Paul wanted it in El Paso because he loved the structure. So we were tasked to scour El Paso. I looked at every single dojo in El Paso. I was asking friends and family, where can I find a dojo? Finally, when I found the dojo, I knew it was it. Now, it was in shambles. It was for sale. It was broken down. I don't know, my heart knew it fit because it was right smack in the center of downtown El Paso. The outside, it was cool looking, and I knew that was the dojo. I don't know how I knew, but I knew, and I even told location, that's the dojo. Some were like, well, it's gonna need work. I'm like, they're gonna pick it, and sure enough, Paul and Florencia, they picked it. So we filmed it there, but before that, we had to restore everything in there. Everything from water, I had to get 4 construction companies there. I had to get air conditioning, because there's a lot of OSHA requirement, laws, safety. We had to install backflow preventer for the water, because the water wasn't working, just to fix everything, plumbing, restrooms, safety. And again, we also had to check the walls for asbestos. I mean, it just goes on and on, and it's a lot of work, a lot of detail. Finally, when we built it, then set that came, started building it, and then the art department came in, and so here we have this magical dojo that works perfect. And by the way, in that dojo, where Benicio del Toro's office is, if you look up to the left, you're gonna see the Superman. That's Paul and Florencia gave me as a gift. When they gave it to me, it was wrapped in a red bow and red paper. And when I was unwrapping, I was like, oh, there it is, because I've been trying to get it from the art department. And I'm like, I told Paul, like, I was gonna try to steal this. Then he just looked at me like real weird, like, I was just joking, but I joke like that a lot. I try to steal it. Yeah, I just joke, but I do it to break monotony, because laughter is the key to, you know what I mean? If you're always stiff and you're not relaxed, you're not gonna excel in whatever it is you do. So I take my job very serious, but I like to joke because we're human, and that's the human aspect of being a location manager, is that we have to be really good with the public. We have to be really good with our communication, how we talk to people, and how we showcase ourselves. I think that's vital when you're scouting for a movie, for a production company to come in. You have to be confident, but also have a certain way of speaking to make people feel cool, relaxed. So it was very difficult to do that one. That probably was one of my biggest challenges. Paul wanted it to be authentic. Everything that we filmed was basically authentic. There's a lot of authenticity in his work. So he wanted a real jail. I mean, we could have made one, but no, he wanted it to be real. When I did the premiere at the Plaza Theater, Warner Brothers gave me the phone booth where people were taking pictures. And I wanted to share that with the community, with the city, and that way people could do the same. I went and I spoke with the director of iMAX. We worked together and collaborated this genius idea of the front ticket booth, filled it up with a lot of memorabilia, some being gifts that they gave me, which are actual props from the movie, like the Superman poster and sweaters and just a bunch of cool swag, which is called shit we all get. Stuff we all get. Sorry, can I cuss at this or no? Sorry. Okay, all right, that's what we call it.
That's a good one.
It's called swag. Anyways, so I was just sharing with the community how nice Warner Brothers was with us. iMAX really loved it, and it was a great presentation because we're showcasing what we did in El Paso. So it was a good turnout. The film dog, I took that picture. That's Baloo, and that dog belongs to Michael Glazer, our location supervisor. That was his dog. Warner Bros. Was a pet-friendly workplace, so you can bring your pet to work. And so everybody brought their dogs, but that was Michael Glazer's dog, and he had to step out for the day and volunteered me to take care of him. His dog and I got really close, and by the end of the day, the dog was wearing my shades, which are these. And I told Michael that I was gonna try to steal his dog, and he got upset, but I was just joking. I mean, like, he's the coolest dog ever, and he's a film dog. You know, he walked around on set, everybody knew him. He had his little bowls on every set with water, and he's just a good dog, and it's just a good atmosphere, you know, to have your pet at a workplace. I thought that was really cool. You know, I took him cruising in my car. Everybody, the cops saw him. Yeah, I had him in the back, and he was sticking his head out, so all the cops were looking at him when I was cruising around, looking at the locations. Yeah, so pretty neat, huh? And Senate Bill 22 is giving $300 million to the state of Texas for a 10-year period for other filmmakers to come and film in the state of Texas. Now, just so you all know, to be clear for the record, Warner Brothers with Paul Thomas Anderson did not qualify for any incentive program at all. So Paul Thomas Anderson really fought for El Paso. He fought to show Warner Brothers the potential that El Paso has. We need to do something within the city and county of El Paso. Now that we have one battle after another to showcase what El Paso has to offer, other production companies are going to want to come. And through my experience as a location manager, I will tell you that we have the locations, we have the people, we just have to give production that discount. We need to talk to our mayor, we need to talk to our county judge, our elected officials. We need to unite El Paso as a whole community to showcase what we have to offer, because that will in turn create local jobs, people that can be hired here, that could work on set, and the money will stay in the community and be recycled again back into the community. So that's a great thing. They need that discount. It is important. It is vital for a film to be here in El Paso. And I'm also collaborating with the State Film Commission. You know, I invited Ellie Nichols to come to the premiere with the state of Texas to showcase what El Paso can do, because we are also professional filmmakers and we need to be recognized also because we are still part of Texas. The best thing that we can say about El Paso, this is what I told Warner Brothers, El Paso is the second safest city in the nation. I think that's what sealed the deal, because we are safe. There's money allocated for filmmakers, and it can create jobs, and it can stimulate the economy here locally in El Paso. So it's time for us to unite.